Welcome, brothers and sisters. My name is Eros and I am the Doll Maker. This will be my last video for this year, so I will try to summarize my experience here in this platform for this project. This has been a very long journey, an amazing journey, but of course also an hard one because I had to learn a method to transmit information through this media, through videos. Before this project, I always only had students in person. But since we are here for the upcoming year, here's a few anticipation of what's coming. First of all, in the upcoming year, we need to talk about the rituals of our covenant. Mainly, they are from a Thelemic tradition, so they will come from Thelema. And we will also discuss how and why we perform these sorts of ritual. Now, for the ritual series, it will be essential for you to know everything we've discussed into the series of mindset and meditation, and also on the series about the planets and the elements. But I do also strongly recommend to follow up with that series, that you will also have studied our series about sigils and spell workings. Then, before diving headfirst into our ritual series, we will need to discuss divination. So, of course, we will discuss about the use of pendulum, the use of cards, tarot cards in particular, the use of the I Ching, Book of Wisdom, and maybe we will also be able to discuss a little bit the Lenormand. Now, we won't talk straight away about the runes. Of course, they are extremely important, also as a method of divination. But the runes are a completely separate system of magic. So, since in our tradition they are mainly used for spell casting or magical workings of many sorts, it will be a very complex series that we will discuss in the future, and realizing that sort of content will require a lot of time. So just like with rituals, there might be some delays or changes in the order of the videos, in the order of the lessons. So you need to forgive me because I really want to treat them with the respect the rune deserves. But don't worry, we will get there, and we will do ordered playlists so you can follow along once the videos are out. Also, once we are done with divination and rituals throughout these years, we will discuss spell work in a more advanced way, if you want. So we will discuss every other option that we have aside from candle magic. We will discuss jars, we will discuss the use of waters and potions, of course, the use of dolls, and so on and so on. Also, we will take our time in the future to discuss some specifics of spell work. For example, the crafting and upkeeping of altars, the tracing of circles. We will discuss energy work. We will discuss the importance of robes and masks, and so on and so on. Now, It's still a little too early to really talk about vampirism and astral projection, but of course we will get there. So, for brothers and sisters of the Crimson Claw and the Path of the Dreamer, don't worry, hold tight, we will get there. Also, a fun note, this year, if I manage to do so, I will start a side project in which I will be the student this time. I will try to dedicate myself to the study of the history of art, starting from my little city. Of course, there will be a professor, which is also an architect, following me, guiding me in this path walking. It will be on a separate channel, but don't worry, because I will let you know as soon as it's ready, basically. If you want to follow along. Of course, it's not mandatory to follow the lesson. It will be something I will do only basically to dedicate myself to study and for my pleasure in my free time. Now, at the end of this year, I need to thank a few people. First of all, I need to thank, really from the depth of my heart, the members of the Silver Iris and of its sister wings. So, the Pact of the Crimson Claw and the Path of the Dreamer. And I need to thank them for the constant support throughout and on this project. Sisters, brothers, I know we still have a really long way to go, but I'm sure we can do this together. Then I also need to thank you all of you that are outside of our covenant, for your attention and for giving me the opportunity to explain our traditions, our tradition. And I also need to thank you for having an open-minded attitude while confronting with me and my content and my material. Also, I need to thank all of the covenants, all of the circles, all of the orders who have contacted me despite our differences, to have a constructive conversation, a constructive dialogue. But in particular, I need to thank a few persons. So, in this case, I want to thank my brother Chris for his kindness and for his inspiring thirst for knowledge. Brother, I'm sure you will be given your true name soon. Also, I want to thank my brother Markov, which is the most understanding and the most honest of friend anyone could have ever hoped for. Then I also, of course, need to thank my hunter, brother Kane. Many times throughout these years, I would have been completely lost without you. So, Knight of the Hydra, may I always and forever be the silver moon shining on your path. But most importantly, I need to thank the two most wondrous and beautiful women I could have hoped to have in my life, which of course are Amy and Lily. Link in the description for the channel. I strongly, strongly do recommend you take a look to the amazing work. But without you two, I could have never carried along this project, and neither the existence of our covenant would have ever been possible. So, my personal blessing to you is that may the blessing of the gods, either from above or below, always follow you and follow each and every one of your steps in your path for eternity. In a last note, if you forgive me, I would love to dedicate all the hard work of this year to both of my grandmothers, which unfortunately has left this world before, just before this project started. And also I wanted to dedicate all the hard work of this year to my little cat, who she's recently left this world, and unfortunately can no longer be with me throughout all of my researches and all of my recordings. So, Raja, safe travel on the other side, and may our souls meet again one day. Of course, as always, I deeply thank you for your kind attention. I hope I will see you in the videos coming up next year, if you still want to follow along. And as always, and more than ever, with all of my respect, may eternal light shine upon